And welcome to the Knitting Crowd. I'm your host, Mikey. We're talking sachet today. I was at the discount store, found this for a couple bucks, Canadian dollars, and I thought, you know what, it's been a long time since I've actually played with this yarn, so I figured I'd just buy a few balls, and I'm going to be updating my how to knit with sachet. The difference between how I filmed it in the beginning is that somebody told me how to use this stuff, but now that I'm teaching myself knitting in more of a proper sense, I'm actually able to read the knitting pattern and actually follow something. Let's get started right away. So I'm going to be referring to this pattern. You're going to find many patterns on yarnspirations.com that are sachet related. They're pretty much all the same. The only difference is that there was different types of sachet. There was team sports sachet kind of ideas, bohemian, there was metallic, there was the regular, you name it, it was the big thing at the time. So it is a mesh yarn. So it appears that when you're knitting with this is that you're more fancier than you are. And the reality is that it's the mesh that makes it look all fun and frilly. We're going to be using a US 9, and it's a 5.5 millimeter knitting needle, and I'm using circulars just to make it easier for myself. So we're going to start, and I am right-handed, so I'm going to look for the first available loop that is here. Okay, so this one's open, so there's that first one. So I want to go with my knitting needles from back to front, just grabbing this side, and then just using my hands just to kind of hold open the mesh. I want to skip the next mesh hole, and I want to go to the second one over and go from front to back. So this is considered 2 cast-ons. So the wider the scarf, 10 cast-ons is wider, but then it's a lot more shorter, and then the long one that you see that the model's wearing is the size that you're seeing. So it's a 6 cast-ons. So that's 2. Open the mesh. You can see the next empty one. You want to skip it and go to the second, and go then from back to front, skip the next one, front to back, skip the next one, back to front, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to do one more, skip the next one, and go front to back. So you now have 6 loops cast on like that. Let's continue. So with your knitting needle, the other one, you want to do this as a knit stitch. So go into the first loop and stay on the back side. So it's completely inside that loop. And with your other hand here, you want to open the mesh as it's coming to you, or you can just pre-open it before it gets to your hands. And you're going to skip the next empty loop and go to the second over. And you can almost just kind of weasel its way onto the knitting needle like that. On, and then just knit. So just bring it through and through. So if you know how to basically knit, this is the same thing as just a loop yarn, that's all. So now you're going to come to the next one. So it's a knit stitch, so just come in and grab it. Okay, make sure that there's nothing in between the 2 needles. Open your mesh, and you're going to skip the next empty one, and you're going to go to the second over right there. And bring it through and slide off. You're going to go to the next one, open the mesh, skip the next one, go to the second. And I have found using this yarn in the past is that the distance, you get used to the distance, so you know exactly where to look for that second hole that you need for the loop. So go to the next one. Okay, so skipping the next one, go right here. So I'm just kind of using my tip just to kind of separate that as I go, and I use this hand to kind of pull back and to continue to open up that mesh and knit through. You're gonna go to the next one. I want to make sure that I'm going right through a major loop, not just a piece of it. And then use this hand to spread that mesh. It's easier for you. And then we're going to do our last one. Okay, skip the next one and go to the second over. And you've now officially done row number 1. You're going to turn and flip the needles around, and then you're going to begin again. This is all this pattern is. So you're going to start, go into the first loop, grab the mesh, and go to the second empty one. And you keep doing that until the cows come home. And there you go. And that was row number 2. So you're going to start to sing, it's going to bell out like this, and I'll just do one more row, and then I'm going to talk to you about what happens if there's a knot in the ball. That's very, very possible with this yarn because it is a fancy yarn. It can break during manufacturing, and sometimes they just tie it together in order to keep it consistent so there's not a lot of waste. So just one more row with you, so just skipping one. Again, pull that mesh, don't be afraid. And if you accidentally don't skip one, you know, once in a while, it's not a big deal. It's frill yarn. You can get away with a lot of stuff. So next, what I want to do is that I want to show you what happens if there's a knot in the ball. So I'm going to purposely cut the yarn, create a knot, and then show you what to do. I purposely cut the yarn. You can see the tail ends, and it would look something like this, and it's impossible to get it out. So what you need to do is that you need to consider how you're going to do with your project. So continue to knit and closer to where this is going to, the knot is going to happen, and I will be back in just a few seconds. So I'm getting closer to here. I want to cut this knot out, even though I put it in. You won't have that luxury if it's already in the ball. So you want to cut this. Put that aside. Carefully, just move your knitting needle so those don't pop off. And you want to open up this mesh so you can kind of plan out how it's going to go on here. And our goal is to overlap the 2 meshes with 3 spots. Okay, so I'm kind of looking at it here. So over the next few stitches, I want to put this yarn with it. So instead of just knitting with just the yarn we've been playing with, when you put this on, I want you to put on the new one as well. Okay, so put that on, and then just grab a loop relatively close to the end and put this one on and knit with both. Consider that as 1 stitch. And now I'm just going to turn my work. Now where it happens on the project, it doesn't have to be on the end stitch like this. It just happened to be for me, so that's not a factor. So you're going to continue now to knit until the first one runs out. So you'll put that one on, and then you'll put the new one on. And just keep it together as if it's 1 stitch. Do the next one the same way. And this will be the end of the line for that one. And then you're going to continue then to knit with the one coming from the ball. Is it inconvenient? Yes. Is it the end of the world? No. And just using the new yarn coming from the ball, just do that one. So you're just going to let this sit just right where it is. It's going to get hidden by the next ruffles that will go over top of that. So as you now are knitting, you're just knitting now with the regular yarn coming from the ball once again. So when you turn around, the ones that are in the same ones, you just want to operate those together as if they're 1 stitch, because they are. So then when you come into here, you just go right into both of them, and it will trap them both together. And just continue to work your magic. So next, what we're going to do is show you how to finish off. So you're going to go as long as you want to go, and the ruffling will go. And you can trim at the end. See how things are kind of falling a little bit looser down here? You can just trim that later to go a little bit shorter, just so it's more hidden, and it shouldn't fall apart on you like that. Okay, so let's continue along now, and let's show you how to finish. Okay, let's begin the cast off process. So after you've gotten the length that you want to leave about 24 inches left here on the end. We're then going to start the cast off process by just knitting, and you want to take and skip the first one as you have been and go to the second and put it on. So you're going to knit like you are not casting off yet. So you're going to knit the first one, slide off. You're then going to knit the next one, skip in the next loop here and go to the second. And here's where the game changes. You're going to take the first loops that you have, the first loop, and go up over top of your needle and go over top of this one, leaving this one that I'm pointing to on the needle. So like this. This is called a bind off. You're then going to knit the next one, opening the mesh, coming through, and then you take the first one and go up and over. Like that. And so you're going to continue to do that all the way across until there's one loop left on your knitting needle, and then I'll be right back in a moment. So I'm doing the very last one, and I'm coming up over and in, and then take the first one and go over top. And that will leave one needle left, or one loop left on your needle. We're then going to let this rest, and what we have to do is that we have to secure this loop in with thread. So we're just going to use thread, just open it up. So just get yourself some thread. And what I like to do is that I like to tie a slip knot onto the one side. It will allow it to lock in a lot better. So leave that slip knot here. And the other side, just throw it through a tapestry needle or the sewing needle, depending what you have on hand. And what I want to do is that I want to secure that loop. So just go right into that loop, and then take that and go through the slip knot that you made. Okay. And that will hold on to that. And then you're going to pull out your needle. You're still holding onto that open loop. And so right when you came across, just kind of open things up. I want you just to secure in to other parts of where you came from, just to tie that into a knot. Okay, you might want to do it a couple times. So now I'm good to trim that thread down, and it's good to go. So that will never come undone on you, and therefore you'll have a full-length scarf. Now that this has been secured, you can just then trim this piece like so, and just kind of open it up as much as you can, and it will just dangle out of the way, and it will be good to go. So this would be how you would use this yarn in order to make these fun scarves.